Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. Gabriella and I had a conversation last week that I found very helpful and got me thinking about some things that I thought would be worth communicating to all of us. Um, and I checked with her that I could share this with all of you. Um, at the time, she was expressing some concerns, and we've all talked about this before, concerns about what it means to um, be using technology in the ways that we're going to have to, and questions around expectations. Um, Expectations of each of us in the roles and responsibilities that we will play and carry as we continue to create, deepen together, and offer it to people. Um, so it was really around this question of expectations that she got me thinking, and I thought it would be worth sharing a little bit of my process with all of us. First of all, let's back up and think about the big picture, which is, of course, that we were invited by Debbie to walk alongside her and her team in such a way that we could learn how they've put the Deepen program together, and then we could take that and offer it within the YWAM context. So this first 2-year process, although that feels like a long time, is really a sort of a training time for us to become familiar with not just the content of the program, but also how to train up spiritual directors, and really to sort of feel our way into what that could look like within YWAM. So this first 2-year cohort, group of people going through the program is, I mean, it's not that they're guinea pigs. Obviously, they're going to get a great training, but we we're guinea pigs, if you like. We're guinea pig YWAM trainers in spiritual direction. And then the following 2-year program that we will run without Debbie and her team, we'll run it ourselves as a sort of in-house spiritual directors training, although we may also choose to open it up to people who are not in YWAM. That will be almost like that's our beginning. This is the prelude, and that will be our beginning in a way. And we've talked about it before, and as I think about that, I think about the big picture of YWAM and what it means for us to see spiritual direction as a ministry that people know about within YWAM, that they know how to access it, that they know for what reason they might seek out a spiritual director, and how to do that when they feel that need. And then also we're training people to offer that as a ministry. So I guess the thing that I would want to communicate, between all of us, is that there's a movement that I feel the Lord has invited us to be part of, and we've talked about this. That as a mission, we're very activist. We like to, we have our motto, if you like, to know God and make God known, and we very much emphasize the making God known. Nothing wrong with that. But it feels as though in this season, the Lord is inviting us into a sort of a rebalancing, to address the balance between the knowing God and the making God known. And of course, global events even have their part to play in that process of helping people to recognize, wow, this is a time to seek God. How can I seek God? What could that look like? Who can help me? So when Gabriella and I were talking about expectations, it's easy to be in a situation like this where we're going to offer a program, and to think of the expectations that relate to my role. What are your expectations of me in my role? What are my expectations of you? how might each of our roles be broken down into different responsibilities and tasks? What does it look like? These are really important questions and things that we definitely need to talk about. What does it look like to lead a small group? What's the time commitment? What are our expectations of one another in terms of the logistics and the practical thing? Excuse me. But at the same time, the even greater question, I think, is why is each one of us here? And my feeling is that each one of us is here because we together have been invited by God into a birthing process, into a process of carrying this, not as a a responsibility that someone's given us, or as a position or anything like that, but carrying a burden for the work of spiritual direction within YWAM, and even more broadly, perhaps, some of the contemplative postures that we might be familiar with within spiritual direction, and carrying that as this kind of precious thing that God is offering to the mission, and being those who help to birth something into the mission. And so each one of us is here because there's part of that we know deep in our spirits, this is something that God is asking of me. This is something he's inviting me to be part of. And so each one, if I can speak to you rather than about us, but I include myself in that, each one of you is someone who has the spiritual depth and maturity and the journey to be able to play your part in bringing that forward. And each one of you is someone who will pray and consider the spiritual realities that are part of the bigger picture of offering this program. And each one of you, I think, has a part to play as partnering with the Spirit as the Spirit brings about a beautiful shift. And I don't know what that will look like, and I don't know if it will look as big and significant as we might imagine it, or if it will be just this kind of, underground, subversive, beautiful thing. I don't know, but I definitely believe that each one of you has that piece that you're carrying to bring about this change. And not that it will just be our group, obviously there are others, but that we would see the creation of the Deepen program within that perspective. And so when it comes to expectations, that is my expectation of us. And perhaps because I tend to be a big picture person, I haven't given sufficient definition in terms of roles and responsibilities. And as you know, we're kind of feeling our way forward, and there isn't an awful lot that I could define without it being a little bit contrived. But in one sense, I would like to say, whatever expectations we might come up with in the future, when it comes to logistics and admin and tech and connection with students and all of those things, whatever expectations we might come up with, those are not to be the main thing, and they need to fit us well. They're not to be heavy, burdensome things that we carry in such a way that we lose sight of the main thing. And the main thing is to be those who participate with the Spirit to birth something which I am trusting is in the heart of God for our mission movement. An invitation to a greater depth, to being comfortable with quiet, with reflection, for the sake of more fully becoming who we're made to be in the world as God's people. So I don't know if that makes sense. I guess I'm just trying to share a little bit of my heart, which is, yes, you're absolutely right that it's more comfortable sometimes to have clearer expectations, and when we're in the position to do that, to the extent that it's helpful, we will do that. But for right now, this is my expectation of us, that we will be carrying this in the Spirit for the sake of whatever it is that God is doing among us as a broader movement. And so with that, let's be prayerful. Let's be checking in with one another. Let's be sharing things that come to our minds and hearts. Let's be watchful as we see how the Spirit is moving among us. And when I say us, I mean YWAM. And globally, let's watch for those movements of the Spirit and be perceiving how this tiny little part of it, this training of spiritual directors within YWAM, how it could be part of the beautiful pattern that the Spirit is weaving. So I hope that makes sense, and what I'm hoping is that it releases anyone from feeling like, oh, maybe I'm not doing enough, or maybe I'm not doing the right thing, or maybe I should be doing different things, or should I know already, X, Y, Z. We're in such a strange place because we had to postpone the start, and of course because we don't know exactly whether the residential will be residential or online. So we're in such a strange place, and for right now, just be assured that the expectation on you is that you would be learning with all of us in our group, learning about Deepen and what it could look like in YWAM, number one. Number two, or maybe it should be the other way around, this is number one, carrying this in the Spirit for the sake of what God is about among us as a broader movement. So yeah, please post your comments and thoughts if any occur to you, but otherwise I'm praying for you guys, looking forward to connecting soon. I will be sending out a little Vite thing so that we can schedule a time to chat in the next couple of weeks, I guess. Okay, much love to all of you. Bye.